We're going to try it. Ladies and gents, welcome to the second decider in Titans League Silver. The winner of this best of 5 will move into gold. Gold and platinum will be happening in January and February of 2023. Once again, thanks for the love. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes and support and the views on the Extras channel. We may even see this game or other games on the main channel, because what I do is I send the best individual games to the main channel all the time, or like the late stages of the big events. We've got D3rp, a player who should be described as a more well-rounded player than Biry. I think that is not offensive to Biry at all. It's not taking anything away from Biry. D3rp is a player who's on the CL team, so most people think Clown Legion. They think he's only good on Arena. But if you go all the way back to my predictions, I talked about the guy, and I said he's really good on all settings. He is good on closed maps, but he's good on open maps as well. He's one of the fastest players you'll see in CL, actually, if not the fastest. And I think he's got potential. This is a player from the Netherlands playing in our teal here. We're going to stick with his color. He likes to pick that a lot. And then in the orange, we have a player who is just Mr. Commitment, man. Like, when you watch Biry, he's always doing something wacky but aggressive. And I think that is a compliment to him. He doesn't always play with the balance that you tend to see at higher level, like other higher level players play with. But his aggression and his commitment to whatever strategy that he chooses, and ultimately this is a strategy game, gets him wins before some of those other things matter. And the other thing about Biry is he's got a little bit of a swagger to him. Like, I don't know how to describe his personality, but I'll just tell you a little conversation I had with him. So I made a video with Biry where he was labeled the most annoying player of 2022. He frequently Vil rushes and does all this random crap on Arabia that everyone hates, right? And so going into this, a lot of people thought, like, okay, if he can't play with those 2 or 3 civs and he can't play Arabia, he's going to have massive problems. And so I was in a Twitch chat like 2 weeks ago or whatever. I think it was watching Heart play or something. And Biry was in there. And, I said, good luck, like, good results, blah, blah, blah. And then someone said something along the lines of, like, Biry's going to struggle in later rounds. And Biry said, well, I'm not doing too bad for a guy who can only play 2 civilizations and who can only play Arabia because I haven't lost a game yet. And so, like, that mentality is, like, I like that, you know? And it's true. So, anyways, that's kind of my introduction to this series. I do think it's going to be a close series. Lithuanians can offer a little bit more versatility than the Huns in their Dark Age. And we've actually seen D3rp go for a dock here. And so he's going to go for the rare fishing play on Jungle Swamp. Something we've seen before, but something that is definitely not meta. You see it less frequently than a lot of other things, like namely scout builds. So I'm sure we're probably still going to see scouts from D3rp, but adding a few fishing ships on top of the fact he started with extra food in the bank is obviously a really helpful addition. All that said, obviously this would be super annoying if this scout sits next to the fishing ship for the rest of the game. So we shall see. So I hope those introductions were fair to the players. But yeah, like, the other thing I should say about Biry is that he's been practicing with Sebastian. And if I were to make a video right now on, like, the most improved players of 2022, Sebastian's in the top 2 in my mind. Like, I think it's Sebastian and Kingston are, like, probably number 1 and number 2 there. As they both played in Gold Season 1, and they're going to be in Platinum because they played so freaking well. And Sebastian's like a super motivated player who's been getting great tourney results, and I feel like that's a great player to train with. So I don't know who D3rp has actually been training with, but if he were to train, like, let's say with a lot of his Clown Legion teammates, it might not give as much practice as maybe training with Sebastian. Obviously, small shout out to Draken, who is a Clown Legion player who will also be in Platinum this season. Draken was an absolute beast in Season 1. So maybe that's been who he's practicing with. I don't know. But this is going to be a competitive best of 5. So Biry's a confident bloke, as many viewers may say. I can't say bloke and have people take it seriously, but I like to mix it in every now and then. D3rp, probably the more well-rounded player from map to map. Already, though, you can see Biry patrolling around, looking for where he can do damage. His scout is one of the most terrifying scouts to have at your base. I played him a million times on ladder. You just know he's always looking at you, and he makes you he makes that obvious too. Like, you see this? You see the difference? You see how Derp's like, okay, I'll eventually find that. That's kind of me. But Biry knows what he needs to kill, and he knows where he needs to go already. He's looked at everything. And now he even sees these villagers here. Where can I drop this petition to make the Dutch player D3rp be shown in orange? You can drop it right there, and I'm going to decline it because D3rp always picks this color. There's not too many players who like to play with the color. Like Viper, for example, always plays with... He likes to play with yellow. D3rp likes to play with teal, and then Biry likes to play with orange. But Biry, it's like the classic, I'm going to make myself orange and then turn team colors on. And I'm going to turn team colors on so it's easier for me to see things on the map. And then if they don't turn off team colors because they want their color, they're going to struggle to see me on the map. So I think Backed has been known for that as well. Anyways, here's a stable here from D3rp. And that's going to be scouted by Biry. And this is going to be Scout and Spearman. Now, there's still fishing ships working, right? And you started with 150 extra food. So this is most definitely a situation where Biry needs to get some early damage in. Whether that be in Feudal Age or Castle Age, it has to happen here. Interesting how D3rp is choosing to wall. You can tell he wants to eventually wall in the back of his base towards the edge of the map. But he's kind of making houses in a little ring around the circle here. I don't hate it, but obviously you could over-chop that eventually, so it's something to keep an eye on. And look at this attack here from Biry. Game 1, right? He's trying to do all the fancy little things. He's attacking here. He attacked at the exact same time. And D3rp with the quick walls! You don't find that from most clown players. Look at that! Holy crap, man! Sheesh. All right, what a save. That would have been a dead villager. Obviously, would have been an awkward start for him, but... that villager can go back to work and stay alive for the rest of the game. Impressive. Still nothing to contest the middle. D3rp, by the way, was one of the... he wasn't the ones that started the quick walling, but he had actually made a couple clips and videos, like last year or the year before, on how to properly wall in enemy villagers, which you see from time to time. And players use that technique to wall in their own villagers, too. Yeah, so we saw a couple spearmen in this area, but we're not seeing the rest of them just yet from Biry. He's concerned because he doesn't see D3rp scout. So I think he's probably going to leave some spearmen at home. Actually, as I say that, no, he's not. And oh my god, he's in! Oh my god, I'll have to rewind this. Disaster for D3rp here, and it's just non-stop pressure from the Argentinian. Still, though, he's not really finding the kills that he wants, so he needs to back away from this. And so, 0 kills, 0 deaths. Again, I might need to rewatch that, but I guess since there was no damage, we'll just continue up with the pace of the game. 6 spearmen from Biry. And thank you guys for obliging, and thank you for letting me use the orange here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I feel like it's so rare that we have players that have these colors against each other. I like to mix it up every now and then instead of every series being red and blue, at least for, you know, today. We've got Archer follow-up coming from Biry already. Like, he's got Archer follow-up, but he doesn't have anything at home, and he's probably thinking, where are those scouts at? And D3rp is defended so nicely here. Let's see if Biry can quick wall. I almost feel like it's not worth it, right? Because if you quick wall one in, more are going to die, so he chooses to fight. And this should be amazing for D3rp. He's going to love life. Meanwhile, Spearman v Spearman over here. And this is quite a few villager kills, and this is precisely what D3rp would have wanted. He only killed 2, so maybe he would have wished for more there. But he got some good pokey pokes over here in the Spearman battle. And he's going to find another villager here. So he's been working with the 4 fishing ship advantage. And now he's gotten some nice kills there. Very well played from D3rp. Obviously, what Biry's going to want, though, is he's going to want his ranges to send the archers forward so these spearmen aren't as much of an issue. And Biry still has 5 scouts on the map. So Biry actually has the better potential to get more kills here in the near future. We see a tower from D3rp as he's going to go for more wood. We might even see another stable from him, but he's going to add skirms. He saw the archers, remember. And he's now going to make a demo, but he did lose 1 fishing ship there as the spearmen are just being lured away. That's a lot of spearmen to leave your base with, but I guess that's not too bad if you kill all of Biry's spearmen in the process. Would love to see a demo shot here. That tower is so well placed from D3rp. It just makes things a little bit more questionable for Biry every time he goes into an engagement. And is this something that Biry's going to expect? Oh, no way! You don't want to be right next to the dock, Biry? Yikes. Great move there from D3rp. That was so well played. You do have to question Biry staying in there, but he has other things to worry about as he pulled his archers this way for the spearmen. And now the scouts aren't an issue, and this becomes hugely problematic for him, because if he had the scouts, he could deal with the skirms. But now your opponent's skirmishers are going to be able to dominate your spearmen and your archers. Resources are looking good for Biry. He is known for not necessarily finishing off the game in feudal, but getting faster castle ages and winning games there. So that's definitely something you've got to keep in the back of your mind if you're D3rp, as he's going to find most likely another villager kill. He could actually kill this villager as well if he blocks properly. I think that villager also had food in her hands. I think it was 35 food because they were coming back from the deer. And here comes a sneaky little force to this side. Something that D3rp should be able to defend from. It's just a matter of how much he needs to make, how many upgrades he needs to research, etc. I'm not sure where these vills are going, though. I don't know. Maybe he had miscontrolled them. I thought he would send it back to the gold. It's possible he didn't want to send it to the gold because the skirms weren't there yet. Also possible he was looking at that, but that's good from Biry. He finally gets some villager kills that he's been waiting for. And now he's going to click up to Castle Age, and Biry's going to be making knights, most likely. Now, this army, its existence, forced D3rp to get fletching and make that number of skirms. How many is he actually going to make, though? And is he going to have a good Castle Age time? You'll see the market now. It feels like he doesn't need that market. It feels like he could cancel these two vills and click up right now. But it's easy for us to look at those details, whereas he's making army, looking for army, and prepping the rest of the game. And these archers now, just sitting in the corner. You don't necessarily want to move out with trash units, but sometimes you feel like I need to do something. And something Biry does very frequently is he'll add additional scouts just to see what his opponent's up to, which I think is an underrated move in general. And it's just one stable at home right now for Biry. And like he's not going to have a lot of food eco either. He's only has 8 farms and he's about to run out of berries there. This is actually going to be an amazing find. But what this should lead to Biry doing is sending the archers in the left corner into the base of his opponent. Because if the skirms come forward, you know they're not at home. We'll see if he does that. Really awkward to have the spearman here too, because you can't use the scout there. This is so well played from D3rp, who is a minute behind a Castle Age. Maybe this army will move in once upgrades come in. That would get the most value from it, right? Shivam, hello. Yeah, Marcus, it is possible that maybe D3rp wanted to trap the archers. D3rp's had fishing ships. He finds this group of archers now, the fast-moving skirms, chasing this down. Very good micro. Like, it makes it look easy. Granted, he is Lithuanian, so that's always a possibility. This army's moving in. I'll keep an eye on that, as the spearmen now need to catch up to the skirms here. The scouts are moving in from Biry. He's going to lose one of them, but now the crossbows can move forward. The fishing ships ran out of jobs here. They've got no food to bring in anymore. As we have +2 armor now coming in. This is sadly the worst spot for Biry to show up to, but he's going to get value from it. And it's not something that D3rp has noticed, and Biry unlucky not to kill another vill there. What's happening? And clearly he's distracted at the moment. He doesn't see this, and Biry's probably like, oh, okay. All right, I'm just going to, like, pick this off until he notices, and now he notices. These crossbows still looking for damage. I'm not sure what the long-term army is for Biry, though. He's not making cav archers. He's not making monks. He stopped making knights. Looks like he's expecting knights, so he will go for monks. But at the very least, it's good that he got some value there, right? He did get some decent kills. And he will actually be able to kill the knight there, too, which is super nice. In the end, though, I would expect D3rp to be able to clear up all the crossbowmen. And Biry now is just going to be as annoying as possible as he sends knights in over here. And I think this is where he just goes for vill kills, but no upgrades on these knights. Like, this shouldn't be a very successful moment for him. He probably feels like he's behind, so he says, why not just kill villagers? There's no monks yet because the monastery's not completed. And he will actually have his own monks at home. But really makes you think, like, how good is the economy realistically going to be here if you've got strong knights in the long term from Lithuanians running through. But this is where it gets fascinating, because while we have 2 town centers for D3rp, it's going to be 3 for Biry. And strong knights don't make a difference if there's monks to convert them. In fact, having more upgrades on knights could actually, in theory, kind of be bad, because Biry will then get stronger units on his side if you try and run in and raid. Cleared up the skirmishers there too. Guys, what a close game this is. This is going to be an amazing series, I'm telling you. I think it might be a little early for me to say this, but I think this might actually be the best of 5 decider out of all 9 of them. We've got some great sets coming up. Later on today, we have Samara versus Hope. Can't wait to talk about those two. Czech Republic versus Vietnam. But no, I mean it when I say that. I really think that these guys are going to put on a show today. Biry had not lost a game leading up towards this. I forget who D3rp beat. D3rp won in a... I think he beat Stray Dog, who is a player that I had favored slightly over him. And a player who is like more... has done more in tournaments over the years too. A Chinese player. Yeah, I think he beat Stray Dog 3-2 in a series I was unable to cover because I had to go home with family and all that good stuff. But was a crazy series. Monks aren't here right now for Biry. And D3rp can kind of sense this. He's like, not hearing any Wololos. But, you know, you've got some crossbows. You've got a monk here with some cav archers. This monk doesn't want to convert. He's just here to carry things. No, don't go back. You're going to donate a knight if you go back. And, wow, somehow D3rp doesn't lose anything there. Meanwhile, D3rp going for conversions here. He ends up getting a big kill there. He's going to have +1 attack because he got a relic. And that's why it's so important right now, I think, for Biry to get those relics, deny it from the Lithuanians. And, well, these knights will have to run away. And it's 55 eco versus 61 eco. Obviously, the fishing ships, though, are idle. And Cav Archer seems to be the long-term play here for Biry, who's now going for the 3rd archer range. Where are the other relics at right now? It's kind of hard. There's so much going on this minimap. It's very hard for me to see them. Well, there might not be many left. This is sick, man. He's got +2 armor, and he's got 3 relics. He's got 10+3 attack before he even researches an attack upgrade. The conversions are going to matter so much for Biry. And, you know, this is why Lithuanians are seen as so strong. They have so many bonuses in every age, right? Whether it's the faster-moving skirms and spearmen from feudal age onwards, the extra food you start with in dark age, the potential knight strength in mid-game onwards. I mean... that's before you talk about the latest. That's before you talk about any of their unique technologies, which I think are more helpful than some of the Hun technologies. And yeah, I guess all relics have been collected here then, as we see Biry moving over to the right-hand side. Now, if the Cav Archers were to just be bold about this, they would find some crazy kills right here. I don't think that's what Biry wants right now. I don't think he wants to be bold. He's scared of those knights. And he should be, especially because you can't house wall. And they've got all this attack. Villagers are going to melt here. And now the Cav Archers feel the need to get some damage in. Looks like a conversion did happen. Having Bodcanero is really helpful in these instances. There's a monk that could go for another conversion. Meanwhile, the Cav Archers are here. Look at D3rp. Look at him getting conversions on the Cav Archers. That's the arena style in him. But like I said, he can compete in these normal games as well. These normal fast-paced games. Big worry for him, though, would be the fact he did actually lose quite a few knights over here. And knights are more expensive than Cav Archers. We haven't really seen the knights take any trades against the CA. So maybe he's going to think about scorpions or skirmishers. D3rp also not on stone yet, which I think is completely fine. And he's actually just, as I say that, going to drop a TC there. Looks like another knight got converted by that monk. So we've got 18, about to be 20 Cav Archers and 8 knights, plus a couple monks out there from Biry. And he hasn't stopped producing the monks, even though all the relics have been collected right now. This is a really good game. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Lithuanians are strong, but I think you got to start thinking about skirms at this point, which is tough to justify when you've donated so many knights. And your opponent is Huns and can make knights so freely. Gotta love this, though. The 2 Cav Archers were like, We don't have ballistics, so you're not going to get it either. We regret switching sides, but we're going to... we'll make sure you don't have ballistics. They're probably like, convert us, please. We don't like it here. We're Lithuanians. We don't feel comfortable. Please, take us back. We didn't mean to attack. It was just... we wanted to let you know we were here. The Knights didn't get the memo. 6-6 Eco KD. Thumb Ring would be awesome to see right now for these Cav Archers. Ballistics obviously will come in. That's so many Knights. 14 Knights. Cav Archers now moving in. Choke Point could also be really good for the Cav Archers in this map. Again, no ballistics. Biry will know it, so he got a little closer there so he could get the hits he wanted. And then the Knights here are getting a few kills as he just runs back home now. Could be wrong, but it kind of feels like he's missing husbandry at the moment. It's very hard for me to tell. Might actually have it. Okay, so 10-6 now with the Eco KD. Stone count's super high for Biry. He's got 25 on stone. That's almost too much in most cases, unless he wants to drop a castle here in the middle and control the game. Ballistics on the way now. Armor's on the way. He probably has husbandry. I think I'm wrong on that. And Pikeman now, the choice. Of course, Pikeman's still very, very vulnerable up against skirmishers. But we're not seeing skirmishers from D3rp. He just wants to go all-in Knights. And who can blame him when you're Lithuanians with 3 relics? Cav Archers are on the side here. Knights are on the side, and this is going to be a great counterattack from D3rp. Something Biry just did not track here. He had no clue that was coming. He doesn't have pikes there yet. He's got the Cav Archers, though. And let's see how aggressive he is. There's a lot of town centers. We actually have Bodcanero on the way for D3rp, which is lovely, as that adds the range for the town centers. And this is so bad, man. You could lose your town center if you're Biry. You need more army here, and D3rp chooses not to do that because of Bodcanero and because he knows army will probably arrive soon. So he runs in, but 2 Knights will get converted here. Did he get none? Wow, the RNG really not helping Biry there, and he needed those. He needed that. He needed to garrison here as well, and Biry's population is dropping like crazy. I cannot believe he didn't get conversions there. Think of the idle time for him right now. It's probably going to skyrocket on our screens for both. This TC actually got denied. This is a ridiculous game. Now, D3rp has killed more villagers, but D3rp's army count is still struggling because he's sacrificing Knights for this. He hasn't taken a trade against the Cav Archers. I found myself in this situation so many times over the years. Yes, you can outmaneuver the Cav Archers, but eventually you need to kill them. I don't know if it's going to be realistic to get the kills if you don't have skirmishers out. What a ridiculous game. Like, that was not a bad moment for D3rp. He found some crazy kills there. 36 Cav Archers and climbing. 1,400 stone for Biry. What? I just realized that. These villagers need a new job. And are they going to stone as well? I don't know where they're going, but holy crap. Now, this TC needs to complete here for D3rp. I imagine he is working on other things right now. He's got 6 town centers, about to be 7. If he could get hill forts, that would... Is it hill forts? Is that the name of the tech? It gives extra range to the town centers of Lithuanians. I actually think hill forts would be epic here. But he needs to complete his castle! Oh, God! And I think D3rp sees the villagers from Biry. That TC completes. The villagers are now making a run for it. The Cav Archers are here. You've got Knights under here, and Biry doesn't realize this. Biry doesn't realize this. He did realize that. He's here. And then does D3rp see this? Oh, my God. Where did the Knights even go for D3rp? I'm dizzy. Oh, they're here. Oh, God. This is so bad for Biry, then. This is a disaster for Biry. He's lost so much eco. And I think he's going to lose all these villagers. Or is he? Is he actually? I don't know. Hill forts! Let's go! That's actually amazing. I think the TCs will have 9 range, which means they outrange Cav Archers. And he's also getting ballistics. Dang, that's ridiculous. Castle will go up, though, in a very important area, because it denies this gold and denies this stone, which leaves these golds accessible for D3rp. There's Hill Fort for you, by the way. You actually cannot raid with Cav Archers anymore with all these TCs. This is a crazy game. Okay, so now we're going to start to see skirmishers come out from D3rp, who has killed 39 villagers. Did I say this game was going to be good or what, guys? Also, these games tend to like really fry your brain a little bit. It just becomes very awkward to focus on certain things, like getting your villagers back to work, like normal game flow stuff. D3rp will kill more villagers over here. Biry noticed, and then, yeah, he's heading back towards the TC, but he's also going to try and drop a castle here, which he will actually complete, funnily enough, because the elite skirm isn't in yet, and these other ranges got denied. Cav archers and pikemen defend on this side very nicely. This finally gets... Oh, God, there's just so many vills getting picked off. Oh, my God. But yeah, it's slowly going to get dealt with. And the bigger question in my mind for D3rp... Are you kidding me, dude? He's about to go to TC number 9. Well, we have Hillford's T90, so it makes a lot of sense. Might as well take it to double-digit TCs here if you're D3rp. But, like, my mind is what happens with your food and wood eco. Like, I actually don't think he's going to be able to afford that many skirms if he's producing vills out of this many TCs and whatever else. This is crazy. We have more on food right now for Biry than we do D3rp. This game is insane. This is one of the best games we've seen in Silver. This is a treat. Expanding farming eco, which is good looking. I like it. Cav archers here have to run away. Tarkin hype, by the way. There's a couple Tarkins in the castle. I feel like it's going to reach a point, though, where D3rp can't realistically counterattack, because there's going to be pikemen, monks, and cav archers at home. There's going to be enough of them anyways. Ranges are going to be rammed down. Also, another castle could eventually come up as we see, oh, side buildings here from D3rp. I love that. These players are so good, man. These guys are playing out of their minds right now. And just as I talk about the food eco for D3rp, suddenly his numbers get a lot higher, right? You can see how much easier it is to go in with knights, because knights you don't have to pay attention to as much. And they have a lot more possibilities for damage in low numbers. And that's precisely what we've seen with a couple of these random knights. Like, that's intentional there. Him clicking that knight that way is intentional because he knows there's other things happening. We'll see if the Rams ever move in from Biry, who does see this, I'm sure. And pikeman goes that way, too. 49 on food for D3rp. His food eco is flying. He needs to get up to imp, I think. All right, so here's the cav archers, right? And D3rp has vision because of outposts. Let's see. Now, he will take losses. But he's moved forward with the skirms, too. Oh, that could be the killing blow. Oh, but the relics are right there, too! Ah! Okay, we haven't seen hill forts yet. D3rp's definitely trying to think about imp here. Castle now from Biry, which should be denied. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, that castle needs to go up. Feels like it, right? Feels like you need some of your own knights now if you're Biry to complete that castle. At least he converted one. Still no reaction here. Tarkins were raiding in the back. They're running back to the castle. TC's going to be rammed down. Villagers are getting picked off here. This is insane. Absolutely insane. I think maybe now the castle can complete. Imp is obviously a really big deal here. Like, Imp is going to change a lot. But I've just noticed that D3rp doesn't actually have any gold miners. That would be the villagers in this TC which aren't working. And which is his Imp TC? Okay, so that should be fine. We'll see if he has army when he makes it to the next age, though, because the knights that he donated to his opponent are going to kill these skirms. And, I mean, this is a pretty big army of cav archers and Tarkins. And now there's no relics, too, so your knights don't actually have any attack upgrades. What? This is insane! This is a ridiculous game. I would snag those relics, though. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe you don't want them here because your opponent could get it back with trebs. But I would try and get those relics away from D3rp. 170 pop for Biry. He's just got so much mining capabilities, right? And he should be forcing fights. It's just very hard. The knights are still going to be stronger than the Tarkins. It's just the skirm, the lack of skirms as we see another TC for D3rp is the main issue, right? He does have 35 on gold now, so that's been fixed. That's not too bad. And we might see 200 pop Castle Age here from the Argentinian, who will be happy to clear out Knights. Yeah, this is a fight that he'll take every single day. So it's a good thing that D3rp made so many TCs, I guess. Ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous game. New Monastery, obviously, for D3rp. He's got to be careful about his castle. And, like, what does he gain from Imp? Probably Bracer on Skirms? Yeah, Bracer on Skirms in the TCs. That's not a great thing to gain in Imp. These castles, the longer they stay up, the better. And we'll see if there's any potential for any, like, raids down here. As D3rp is now housed, actually, due to these raids. And we're still looking to see how the skirm number is going to look for him. He's got 11 skirms. That's all he's gained from Imp is the skirms. But actually, the Tarkans are all gone. And we're going to see the light cav decision here for Biry as he falls back to the castle. It's a good decision, obviously. Fall back to your castle. He really needs to raid on the other side, which he now sees. The resources should be flying right now for Biry because his eco's untouched. And so he's kind of in a position where anytime D3rp goes one direction, he should go the other. So right now he's going to see this. Hillfort's is insane tech here. But he's going to try and force an army to come this way. And if he doesn't see an army here, he's going to go in for it. He's going to attack. I don't know exactly where the stables are right now. But there's army out there for Biry. If he could get it together, I could see a world where Castle Age could do this. The main thing I'm worried about is can he actually deal with 14 knights with armor? And relics, though. We'll see if those relics actually come in. D3rp currently is housed, so he can't make the monk. He is chasing that army down, though. Okay, so Biry needs to kill these knights. Like, killing these knights is the most important thing in the game for him right now. It's more important than any raids. It's more important than anything against the skirms. Killing knights with imp armor is going to be a tricky task. And you can see how problematic this is for him right now. As he also is going to try and take this here. He's going to move in. He's going to still be a threat. Has this gold over here. The knights. Sorry, I looked away from them because there's so many other things we need to point out. But the knights are dominating. We've got Skirm Knight, Skirm Knight, Skirm Knight is the play here for D3rp, who's in Imp and has a villager lead. Could have the relic lead. But those relics are now going into the monastery from Biry. This is insane. This game is amazing. D3rp's at 190 pop, which puts him ahead of Biry, which should mean he's pushing out across the map as he's got Cavalier now. And remember, guys, he's got gold, right? This is the last of his gold, but he's got gold. Can a Castle Age player defend from Cavalier with Imp armor? It's going to be so tricky for Biry. And he also still needs to pose some type of a threat, otherwise he's going to get trebbed down. Man, is that an important castle, though? Like, protecting that gold is so nice. Oh, man, there's just still so much damage being done by these knights. And the population for D3rp isn't dropping either. He's got his trebs now, guys. He's ready. He's been so patient. So now we can start to push back this corner. And we do have Imp for Biry, which is actually one thing I missed throughout all this craziness. Now, these villagers, they're going to die. That hurts. You need those vills. 115 vills is not enough. Yet another example of how quickly things can get out of hand against night raids. I think if you're D3rp, you should definitely tech into trash units, because if you don't push this back easily, you could run out of gold. I mean, he probably is going to take it easily, but it's just something that should be in the back of your mind as he gets that relic. This is sick. Also, he sees most of the map. He's split up in so many different areas. Not the first time we've said that, and he's probably going to prep trebuchets to go after this castle immediately. Just another example of him being aware of exactly where he needs to be. The relics are right behind here. Both players are 7 minutes, or past 7 minutes of idle eco time. This is one of the best games I've seen in Titans League Silver so far. It's been a treat. But I'm noticing a problem for Biry. He doesn't have an army comp that he's sticking to, that he believes in, right? Just a little bit of everything, it seems like. If he could keep the castles up there, if he could stick around here a little bit longer, things would obviously be good. And the trebs are now being packed up by D3rp. D3rp could lose some cav there. He could lose his trebs here. Obviously, on this side, though, he's going to be trying to make trebs. D3rp is actually overboomed, guys. 150 villagers. I just noticed that. Still more Tarkans from Biry. He's going to have Imp Armor now, but, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he feels like because he can deny the golds that this is going to be worth it. He'll still hold on to those relics. It's going to be expensive for his opponent to make trebs. He gets all 3 of those trebs. And now he's going to fall back to his hill. No Halberdier upgrade for him, but does have pikemen patrolling around. Here, he's going for a couple conversions, and he's got some cav archers, and he's got a castle, and he's got a hill. But his population is so low now. It's 90 villagers and 40 army. Whereas it's 150 villagers and 30 army or 40 army for D3rp. And D3rp still got gold. He still is the relic. But can he stop this trap? Can he stop this pushback in this corner? It looks like he can. He's ready for it. Dude, there's just like random teal dots everywhere. And orange dots as well. Oh my goodness. Great snipe there though from D3rp. The most impressive thing for me about D3rp's game is his eco. We kind of laughed at the amount of town centers that he had, but I feel like the guy's always placing farms, which is something that you can attribute to some of the best players who are in the top 10 and top 15 as well. Like, sure, they can be under pressure. He might even question why are they, not mixing in this unit or that unit, but their eco is just insane all the time. And yeah, like, he's also is finding his opponent's eco all the time too. D3rp's a maniac. And I think he's just a couple moments away from winning the game as well, honestly, because he should be able to snipe this. Like, that's what I'm thinking. With this economy, these trebs should go down. And it's just such a big problem for Biry to keep his eco even working. Hasn't realized he's losing those villagers. You can tell the mass is being prepared to push this area back once and for all. It just all comes down to swinging into this right side, taking out the trebs, and that'll happen in a moment. And then you take the left side, and then that game's over. I mean, you could even bring the trebs forward to take the main base of Biry at this point. It's wide open. Ridiculous game. Really fun stuff. But probably one of the first legitimate moments in a competitive game where I've seen hill forts really make a difference. And he didn't mess around with that either. Castle went up, he researched hill forts, and he also dropped tons of town centers. And I think you could make arguments that if he didn't drop the town centers, the cav archer raids would have caught up with him, and that he might not have had this much economy. Also, this Tarkin's killed like 12 villagers. The fact that they don't make noise when they attack, which, please devs, fix it. But the fact they don't thump anymore actually helping Biry there. And now we have another unique tech, Tower Shields. That just makes the skirms and the halbs stronger. You missed it. Halb was already teched into. And that's our game 1 in this series. So if you end up seeing this on the main channel of YouTube, this is actually a full series. Winner here moves on out of the silver bracket into Gold League in Titans League Season 2, which starts in January, February. I'll have more information about that. But yeah, buckle up because this series should be insane. What a great game, though. I'm really curious on D3rp's APM. Like, it's got to be nuts. Yeah, like Army APM average of 90. I mentioned his APM at the start of the commentary, too. I think, I don't know how people achieve these numbers on a consistent basis, because there's only so much you can do in Dark Age. It's probably just like how many times they click, and, some people are a little wild with it, but he's one of the fastest players you'll see in Silver. 82,000 resources collected. But, like, Hill Forts was such a great play. That was so cool to see. Instant Hill Forts, Ballistics, Bodkin Arrow, and then suddenly Biry's Cav Archers just had nowhere to go. That and the raids and his farming eco won him this game. Impressive stuff. But the big question I had over Biry was not necessarily his strategy, but it was also like, what civs is he going to play as? Other people play Huns on this all the time, but like peak Lithuanians, they can just do more than a lot of other civilizations on this map. I'm trying to find the conversions. 12 it was for Biry. Whew, man. I mean, I feel like if we find random units even now, we're going to see a lot of villager kills. That's 14. It's 2, 1. That's not so random. What about this guy? 3. I guess some of the units had died recently, but there were just a couple leftover units just sitting around the map. You could tell it's intentional that he splits them up because he just clicks them to different areas of the TCs. 9 hours of idle time for both players, like villager idle time. It's just a crazy stat that happens in these types of games. Well, we knew this series was going to be crazy. The home map for Biry is Houseboats, which we saw a decent amount in the first season of Titans League. Obviously, these settings are modeled after the first season because, technically speaking, this is the first season of Silver. And no surprise that someone like Biry has developed some type of strategy or build order for this map. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. If you paid attention to the draft, he actually picked Dravidians first for his civilizations, and Houseboat was also his first home map pick. So let's go over it on this map. You start with the TC on a little island. You start with villagers, of course. But eventually what you want to do is you are going to want to expand outside of this. A little interested in the start here for Biry, because I think he's going to be a little late for that house. You do start with a house on this map. So you start with one house, which makes the start a little bit easier. The Dravidians get +5 pop space from each dock, too. So a dock is a dock and a house. They also have extra carry capacity for their ships. They get +200 wood when they reach the next stage. So if I had to guess what Biry's going to do, I think that he's going to go for a fast feudal into forward docking derp. Because typically what the Mayans have done in this map is they just try and be defensive, wall up, and take it to land with plumed archers or whatever. Also, what's happening here? That's a misclick from derp. That'll hurt him a little bit. But yeah, keep an eye on the build order here for Biry. I think where this civ's going to start to feel really strong is right after he gets his dock up. So he could try and make a house here, or he could try and scramble up the dock because he wants to save the wood. It's awkward with the timing. I would always make the house. Yeah, there you go. All right. Oh, OMG, screw sleep. I'm watching this. Right? The whole series is going to be a banger, man. Like, I could realistically see Biry having a really good build for this that derp isn't prepared for, winning this game. Then derp goes to Fortified Clearing, which is more arena style. He wins that game. Then Biry has another open map where he has a good strat, wins that game. Like, I think this is going to go back and forth to game 5. That's what I want to see. Also, interesting little side note here is that Biry is docking the outside, which I think is always preferable because you can get access to more shorefish, which is food income. And he's also bringing in pigs to the TC. Obviously, you've got to use your scout right now. Not a big fan of docking the inner side because you're going to take the shorefish pretty early anyways. But what it does do is it kind of hides where your dock is from your opponent. So there is some strategy to it, I guess. Lots on wood right now for derp. They'll be adding fishing ships. And yeah, you can see Biry's not going to need to make a house for a long time here. There's quite a few of them by now. This is the one map where you probably won't be running your scout into your opponent's TC ever. So, that's a fun little stat. Nice little trivia question. Which map have we seen 0 scouts run into TCs? Someone's going to be like Ravines, and I'm going to say no, because people did that there. And if you know the map, you should know that that probably shouldn't be a thing either. Maybe I'll be wrong on that, though. It feels like I'm always wrong on some of those things. But yeah, look at the extra food. This is actually really nice. I think this is intentional, and this is something that was well calculated here by Biry in his practice. Because otherwise, you're doing precisely what derp has done. This is what I did on this map, is I'd always have a mill come up at this time, because you kind of need to. Obviously, it doesn't help derp that he can't have the extra food here. That's an extra 100 food for Biry that he's gained because of the outer dock. This would be an extra 200. And, yep, there's the feudal age click. Dang, this is fast. I think this is going to be really tough for Biry to deal with. Or not Biry, excuse me, derp. And classic Biry scouting, though. He's gone full circle. He's looked at everything. The only thing he hasn't seen is the dock, so he's probably really confused. But I feel like there's no risk in, like, let's say derp didn't dock. Now, that would be bad because he wouldn't have fish. But let's just say he didn't dock. Even if you're not killing fish, it's worth it to try what Biry's about to try, because you can stop them from transporting out. So if you just surround them here, they have to delete their town center and rebuild one, which is super costly. I think this is fast castle from derp. I think derp's like, I can't click up to feudal yet. What on earth do I do? I guarantee you he wanted to click up already, but now he's like, oh god, I can't. Even like the houses here make it awkward for him. I think this is going to be a quick game. I think this is going to be a really quick game. We've got villagers on gold now. D3rp also, even if he could do something about this, he hasn't seen it. So he has no clue. It's going to be 2 docks. I played against Nahuel, who played in silver here against Huang in round 2 in Wandering Warriors Cup, where we brought this map back into the whole tournament conversation. And it wasn't quite this bad, but I was in this exact scenario where, you know, I ended up losing my transport ship twice, I think. Like, it was a ridiculously messy game. But, oh, man. That's also a weak villager there. Like, if Biry really wanted to, he could go kill that vill, but he probably doesn't know about it. And so he's going to drop a barracks now. He's going to have the fire galleys. And what you need here, if you're D3rp, I think, is you need a second dock. And you need to try and save yourself here on land. Actually, whoa. He actually dropped this dock, which Biry cannot see. Oh, interesting. Okay. That could definitely change things, guys. Because if he kills his opponent's transport and his opponent's fish with less investment, that's worth it. Definitely looks like D3rp wants to try and go fast castle here. He's trying to think about how this is going to go. And there's going to be archers soon for Biry, who's freely killing all the fish. He's also added a galley here, which I love, because that disrupts the boar meat and the berries. And could disrupt the gold, actually. Notice how we have insta-fires from the 2 forward docks from D3rp. Biry still doesn't see this. Oh, boy. This is going to be fun, people. This is going to be fun. This is the wrong time to book a cruise. That's all I'm saying, guys. It is not cruise season, okay? I know the prices are cheap right now, but you absolutely do not want to try and go on a cruise at this point. Wait a couple months. Wait till it's game 3. Oh, shoot. It's so funny. Like, I think he sees it now. This is an important moment for Biry, because he notices it now. But, I mean, he's already so far behind in production. He's shooting down the transport from D3rp. I guess what you want to do is you want to click up to Castle Age in this TC, because you don't want to produce out of it anymore, right? Oh, this is so funny. Neither player's defending their own water. This is so great. The tower is a really smart move here. And actually taking more stone and making an additional tower is also really smart from D3rp. D3rp's right back in this game, man. Like, D3rp is... I don't want to say he's completely fine, because nothing about this feels great. But I think it's okay. I think they really need to be producing at home. Like, I think that's the difference maker. Biry needs to get a second dock down, and he needs to win back his pond. Because none of them have the food to do anything. They can't go to Castle Age. And the villagers that you create can't even work on either side. Unless you're going to make a run for it with these vills right now. Like, I would just research Wheelbarrow and hope for the best. Yeah, there you go. This is important. D3rp can do that. We'll see if it's going to be possible for Biry, who must be a little confused now because of the tower situation. I think we're going to see both players make a TC on the outer ring. I think both players are going to lose their TC before Castle Age. And I love it. There's the transport, and that's transport number 2 that goes down. And he can't make any more now. Stop making vills. Stop making vills. Stop making vills. I know it's your instinct. Stop making vills. Don't do it. Oh my god. That galley's super annoying. Like, the galleys from D3rp and the navy from D3rp in general is going to get a lot more value on villagers. He doesn't have any land army, but the land army from Biry has accomplished very little here. And now these villagers are making a run for it, and they're just going to go to this gold. But no potential. Well, I shouldn't say there's no potential. Not a lot of potential for Biry unless he makes a second dock, which I think he needs. I don't want to lose any galleys, of course. Stop making vills, right? This is the thing. It puts you in a scenario that you're rarely in. Okay, here we go. Fighting back on this side is D3rp. Realizing the tower fire offers a little bit of a cover. TC fire does help a lot, actually. Then we have fires on this side. Okay, that's a 1 for 2. That's all completely fine for derp. Resources collected. Oh my god. It's so close. This is insane. How is this game? I feel like every time we see this map, the games end up being really close. Regardless of how much initial damage someone takes, the map just somehow balances out. Like, one of the best games I think we ever saw on it was, as we see the market now from Biry. I think one of the best games we ever saw on it was in the final of Titans League Season 1 between Vinchester and Veleza. That was a ridiculous game. And that's a nice little approach here from derp. Just great damage control, right? Adds the stone gate so we can get a tower up. And yeah, okay, so clicking up to Castle Age now is Biry. And what he doesn't realize yet is that his opponent has redocked here. And that's obviously a really good thing for derp, and that's a really bad thing for Biry. Biry now sees it and needs to make more fire galleys from this location. And taking the transport ship isn't going to hurt either. Okay. Archers here, still sitting on the gate, but there's a tower there now, so that's whatever. I genuinely think you could consider deleting this TC right now and rebuilding one if you're derp. Obviously, the approach from Biry is to just use it to advance up to the next stage. And then you could just make more town centers elsewhere, I guess. But still got a bunch of villagers trapped in there. I like this. Delaying the wood line with 1 archer is really effective. But what's the like long term here? You don't get knights if you're Biry. I think it's just full water control and then adapt from there. And I think with that, he could consider trying to redock his own water. You could actually do it with these vills in here. 2 docks and then fight back. Oh my god, there's a lot of demos all of a sudden. Derp says, no, 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 no. I will not allow it. And this is a perfect timing, right? Because this is before those upgrades would come in. Fishing ships are actually helping a lot with the blocking right now, but I still think derp's going to be pretty happy with how this has gone. As we see villagers coming this way, I assume for a siege workshop. Oh my god, like what does Castle Age bring you right now? Siege maybe if you're Biry. He's got 2 villagers running this way. He's got 2 villagers and a militia running this way. There's the siege workshop. Can derp see that? Nope. What do you do though? Like rams and archers? Is no food income, so you can't get upgrades. Like war galley upgrade is off at this point. Okay, he is dropping a TC on that region, which is going to be for food income. And he's going to go Mangonel. Okay. I mean, that's a really good move here. Mangonel, with the couple archers you have, is something. And then you can still take engagements on water. And these are reasonable engagements, I would say. Derp had to make another tower there just because of the archer. Stone walls now, too. He's really concerned. Does he see this yet? No, he does not. The pig hasn't really ventured out there to look for it. I mean, if he loses this area, he loses access to all of his safe stone and gold, right? His opponent has vision over all of this. And, okay, Biry's thinking about this. I think he's having a brain fart, though. It's just what the map does to you. You should be using these villagers to dock. These villagers docking isn't the play, but it's hard for him to recognize that. And here he comes. And there's a lot of exposed villagers here for derp. Derp doesn't have a knight civ, so he can't just open up with a couple knights and pick this off. So now he's going to think barracks, maybe, so he can make eagles. But for now, he just runs. And here comes Biry with his scout trying to find those things. Dock does actually go up because of a nifty trick that I didn't show you. Palisade walls block fire, so he built those so we could get that up. And these vills are going to die. At least one of them does. And the next tower should be the focus right now for Biry. Obviously a little distracted. Doesn't see these villagers. We are going to have eagles from his opponent. You could tell he's almost going to lose this mangonel, but now he notices. So he's got 3 archers, 2 mangonels, a militia, and an armored elephant. And a scout, which sounds like the start of a really bad joke. Like, is there a bar somewhere here that they can walk into? Because that would make sense. Biry's going to try and free up his starting TC so we can get those vills. He should genuinely take out the market. Like, I know he's doing it just because he has nothing else to hit, but that's actually a really good thing to hit when you're up against someone in this type of a situation. They're both using the market like crazy. But the concern I have for Biry is simply the fact that his opponent can make eagles, and eagles should be pretty good. The concern I guess I would have for D3rp is that he doesn't have gold to make eagles anymore, so he has to go over here. And now we have the War Galley upgrade from Biry as he's trying to come back on water on both sides, which might be possible. This game is bonkers, man. This game is bonkers. War Galley upgrade's huge, though, if he can actually afford Navy, which I don't even think is the thing. He's still producing vills, but he's producing vills out of the starting TC, which is not what you want. Oh, this is a big moment. This could all get cleared up. You don't get knights. If you're Dravidians, you don't get knights. So it's going to be good night to the Mangonels, and D3rp is on top now. Kind of, sort of, kind of, maybe. Scorpion, kind of helpful. Okay. I guess it'll help the archers get the rest of the kills. But this is crazy, because now Biry's back on his water, guys. I can't spoil whether or not we're going to have houseboat in the second season. The whole idea is to have a mix of settings every single season, so we don't want to have maps like this feature every time. But I'll tell you this much. Houseboat produces some sick games, man. It makes players fight so much more than you ever would really have expected, or I even expected when we brought it in for Wandering Warriors in January of 2022. Because I remember like what Houseboat used to be and the games they used to produce, and it's very different from the games that we're seeing these days. So I guess D3rp now should, I don't know, like, does he give up on this? I guess he kind of has to. He's clearing this. Well, he could clear this. You definitely need to defend your starting water because all your gold is next to it. So that's an area of focus. And yeah, these villagers are just chopping wood if you're curious. Couple eagles getting some pickoffs over here. So D3rp's trying to get some raids in, but he doesn't have many upgrades. So the TC fire should actually be more than enough to push the eagles away. But that is the worry in my mind for Biry. Just the fact that Biry doesn't really have good units. He can't make knights. And their barracks units are cheaper, but I don't know how effective that's really going to be if castle comes up and the Mayan player makes plumes. Like, plumed archers dominate the Dravidians. Though I guess, actually, in theory, Dravidians do have good skirms, so I don't know. We'll see. But that's the build-up. That's the plan for D3rp, who's been on stone for a while and now drops a town center here. Of course, this archer will find it, but the archer will not deny it, as he's on his own. So eagles are going to clear up the archers there. You know, have a monk coming over here. You need to delete these if you're Biry. It's going to be sad, but you do not want to donate any of these kills or any of these units. Because this unit's going to lead to kills and clearing up some of your base. Now, he converted the battle elephant and not the siege elephant. So I guess that's the lesser of the two evils to lose. Oh my god, how did D3rp find this? D3rp must have just had units around. Like, he's looking to see where his opponent's going to expand to. And he actually found all this, and Biry's got some exposed vills then. He needs to wall in. The TC will complete, but this is falling apart here for Biry. D3rp, playing like a beast here, man. Has killed more eco. It looked so bad for him early. And now I think with his civ and his advantage, I think he's the heavy favorite to win this. I think he did enough with that counter sneak that Biry just didn't see and couldn't react to in time. And just did just enough to get more villagers working at home. We'll check the resources collected now. It's a bit higher where it matters, I think, for D3rp, who should be dropping the castle shortly. So you pick Dravidians first, right? If you haven't won the game by now, things have probably not gone according to plan. That was the very first pick for Biry in his draft. Though, I guess right now for Biry, this is looking pretty good. Yeah, I think deleting this starting TC is a really good play now. Not for Biry, because you have control of it. I think, well, he doesn't have food eco. What? He deleted the wrong TC? Wait, what? Biry, no! When did this happen? Oh, no! Oh, he tried to delete his TC and he deleted the wrong one! How does that happen? Maybe he was trying to delete something else. But when people say delete town center on this map, they mean the starting TC, which is the most awkward of them. Oh, God. That hurts so much. I mean, he was already going to be behind here. I guess at the same time, D3rp hasn't moved these villagers. So that's a bit sloppy from D3rp, but D3rp killed a Vill. And D3rp's going to drop a castle here, and that's a ballsy castle, honestly. But it's a castle you place when you know your opponent can't make anything, right? If knights could be out there, then you maybe don't place this castle. I would have actually been okay with a safe castle, like here. And then it clears up all the buildings and gives you access to stone and gold. But this is obviously going to be huge. Then you can make plumes, and I don't see how you defend against plumes right now if you're Biry. Game 1 was a sick game from D3rp. He really had to pull out all the stops to get the win. This game as well, so impressed with how he's playing. And then it's the age-old question. Is it going to be possible for the player who's down 2 games to win 3 straight? We've seen it at the highest of levels, right? I think MBL Hera, MBL winning 3 straight. Red Bull Wolo 5. You know, you could probably go down the list. I think there was also Tato beating Jordan. So when levels are close, it's still achievable. I've seen it before. But it would really have to be insane for Biry to be able to do that. And there's the GG. Biry knows he's dead. And for me, the difference was all just down to the fact that he didn't scout the docks here. If he scouts the docks here, he doesn't lose his own pond. But you lose your own pond, and then you can have problems. They both had problems. It stayed relatively even. And then D3rp did a fantastic job with the towers, keeping his villagers safe from any archers and from any galleys on his gold. Remember, Biry had to leave some resources. He left this wood. He left this gold to go to other resources. He was the one who made archers. He was the one who tried to deny those resources with Navy. And yet he was the one who ended up worse off in that situation. It was a great game, though. That was a really good game. And a frustrating one for Biry because he's going to know, I just got to check. If I check my shoreline, then I don't struggle in this game because I'm set up to make ships. I'm ahead of him on water, so I just need to defend myself. So what a lot of players will do, by the way, at like the highest level, top 20, is they will get ahead on water here, and they never add the barracks in the archer range, and they just add fishing ships at home. And what that does is, in their mind, they're going to need a second dock, which they'll do, which gives them more vision. But it's just more focused on their water in general. And so if you see your opponent's docks, then you're paying attention, and you can make Navy. If your opponent doesn't dock, then you just have more fishing ships than them, because you killed all of their fish. That's, I think, ideally how you should play it. But Biry's a guy who's just like, I need to kill on water, kill on land, end this game fast. And clearly he's probably practiced a bunch of different things if he chose that as his home map and then also chose Dravidians. Very good series so far, but scores 2-0. D3rp's up over Biry. All right, here we are. So game number 3, many people might not have expected this series to be this close. Or sorry, not this close, but, you know, this score line. And many would have expected it to be closer. We find D3rp up 2-0 here after 2 really competitive games. So pressure is off D3rp as he goes Ethiopians on Arabia. And, oh, God, Biry's gone Berbers. Is he going to do what he does with the Berbers? Is he going to Vill rush here? I think he might. If there's one thing you know Biry for on Arabia, it's Vill rushing with the Poles and Vill rushing with the Berbers. He's probably done it with Berbers 500 plus times. He could play Berber standard, but we'll just have to see. Also, this woodline generation is, like, very odd. Very odd. This looks more of a standard generation. I'm not sure exactly what happened here with the wood. It feels like, so typically you have 3 wood lines like this, right? Maybe one of those wood lines combined with a middle wood line. And so it's like a big old chunk. Kind of looks like a dinosaur. Oh my God, it looks like a dinosaur. Look, here's the little head. You got the little back down to the tail. This you could even consider like the mouth. I think that's more of like the neck. He's got a weird neck tumor here. He's got to get that taken care of. Yeah, so we've got the dino wood line. But yeah, he's also got a backwood line to work with, which honestly he might not even scout because you never really count on that being there. But that's nice to fall back to in, like, heated situations, I guess. And, yep, here come the Vills. Okay, so this is Biry mode. Biry's trying to find his opponent now. So Berber villagers are the fastest villagers in the game. At least, are they faster than Bohemian villagers after the monastery techs and eco upgrades? Anyways, they're faster in Dark Age, so that's all you need to know. And, okay, so he saw the scout. He's now looking and looking and looking. Now, this situation could either hurt or help D3rp. I like the lumber camp in most cases, but now you don't have 4 villagers to fight this off. And D3rp spotted that really fast. So he probably knows Biry's reputation. Biry does some wacky things, and now Biry's going to try and wall in the berries. So if at first you don't succeed, and if at second you don't succeed, go back to your roots, I guess, if you're Biry. And that's what he's doing here. The wall in on the berries, though, is not going to be successful. D3rp hasn't even left his base yet. And Biry didn't even have a loom this whole time. What? That's kind of crazy. All right, both players will have loom then. We actually see an engagement right before loom comes in. And Biry has just walled in his... Oh, God, that villager actually can't drop off wood. What? Oh, well, that's more than worth it just to keep attacking here then. Biry's being a pest. He's being annoying. What will D3rp do? I think, like, Man-at-Arm Archer would be really strong. And, yeah, the villagers ran away. And now the villager's going to run back to wood. This villager's trying to run. And D3rp with the plays, dude. Look at this. Now, he's got a weak scout now, which is a problem because the scout's the only thing that can compete with the speed here. And he's just going to take out the palisade walls. And so nothing too crazy here from Biry. He hasn't found a lot of damage. He didn't send more than 2. But he is here, and D3rp can't freely move out now. And I don't want to say he's fully disrupted the plans from his opponent, but he's definitely slowed down how D3rp wanted to execute with his build order. But, again, I'll say, very nice job there. Can this villager drop off wood? I think he can, but now he's got to stay there and repair if he wants to stay alive. So, okay. Yeah, the villagers are kind of in the mouth of the dino. Exactly. You think it looks like a lobster? I'm not seeing lobster. I definitely see dinosaur. Like running from the right to the left. So, I hate this crap. Like, I don't know. If there's ever a way to come back in a series, tilting your opponent, winning game 3, and then having them be kind of frustrated going into the 4th game could be really good. So, this would definitely work against my mindset. I'd be really frustrated. Oh, man, both scouts are so weak. This scout's... They're both 3 HP, so they're both 1 hit away from anything. And we have militia now from D3rp. But D3rp hasn't clicked up to feudal. I think D3rp thinks that he clicked up to feudal age already. I'm surprised. I think that could end up costing him. Also, the tiger could kill these villagers. Uh-oh. Oh, this is so... Oh, man, what do you kill? The tiger? The poor innocent tiger who's just defending his people? Or not people. Well, whatever. Or the scout. He's going to want the scout. D3rp's baiting him. He's like, I don't want to lose this. Back away. Okay, great job, D3rp. But it's going to lead to a kill. So it should be fine. And now this villager's just going to live in the back of your mind forever. And still Biry hasn't clicked up. Is he going fast castle? What? Oh my god. This guy's insane. I mean, he's not fully walled yet. And, okay, he'll be fully walled there. He needs to wall down here. Fast Castle YOLO Knights could be kind of interesting. What else would be interesting is if you made the barracks with this fill, then your opponent's going to see that and think that you're going to attack from there. And you could just make the stable at home. But I don't know what in the world's happening, to be honest with you. It's just classic Biry stuff. He just turns the game upside down. But he did that in the second game as well, and obviously didn't end up getting the win. And this could be double archer range, fast blacksmith here from D3rp. I mean, this could be crazy. And he says, I don't like that idea, T90. Instead, I'm going to go for one range. FC YOLO Knights versus Civ with free pikes. Nah, pikemen, that's not something you need to worry about. You can always outrun pikemen, right? At lower elo, yeah, you might worry about it. At this elo, you just add in scorpions, and then what do you make with the pikemen? You know, it's one of the bonuses that you think would be really strong, but I never really see that the pikeman bonus with the Ethiopians really makes that much of an impact. Feels like they still have to have a lot of archers anyways, right? This is still wide open. And D3rp doesn't have a scout, so he's just going to assume that this is closed. But Biry can see it's open. That's a dangerous game to play, man. Like, I was thinking maybe he wanted to make his market and his blacksmith back here. He's just straight up not walled. It's crazy. Where's the Vil? Oh, the Vil's out. Okay. So, I mean, all you're going to see from D3rp is just pressure the gold, because that's like a really good area to hit. And again, you're going to assume your opponent's walled. But, I mean, Biry could always just go to this gold if he wanted to. Walling now. This villager's still standing there, not doing anything. There's a market. I think we're going to see that villager make the stable. If this army gets in right now, it's GG, though. Like, that would be horrible. A couple Ethiopian archers would end your day. And so it looks like he just didn't think about it. And he still hasn't clicked up. He's really close, but he still would need a building, right? So I guess maybe... Okay, no blacksmith for Biry here. Fascinating. Stable? Hello? You want me to name the villager? What does he look like? Judging by his right shoulder and his right trap, I think that I would consider him to be a James. Scout goes down, by the way. House wall's now up. So if D3rp ever sees that... Of course D3rp saw it now. So he's like, yeah, he's been walled the whole time. D3rp's going to be right behind him, and D3rp is walling up. But the fact that he hasn't looked for this villager worries me. If that villager's not there, this is a simpler game, because then the push has to come from home. If this surprises you from right behind your base, I don't know about that. Might actually watch him make pikemen, or like make more spearmen, knowing he gets free pikemen, which is precisely what I just said isn't normally a big deal here. All right. Biry did lose a villager here, so he's lost 2 villagers this game as he now goes over to this gold. Hey, Catherine, what's up? Welcome. Guys, we've got another series after this, by the way. Thanks for hanging out. We have 3 today. Well, okay, 1 more after this, as this is set number 2. But tomorrow we'll have 3, and then Monday... not Monday. Sunday we'll have 3. My days are all out of whack, because I just got home yesterday from family. Now, you need this villager to stay alive if you're Biry. He has to stay alive because he needs to make the siege as well. But then again, like, this actually could get out of hand too. Now, Biry could quick wall against the spearman, but he's got other things to worry about, and he's down 2 games. Will he notice this? There should be an archer on the way as well if I'm D3rp, so... I guess walling it in isn't the end of the world. Or if Biry walls it in, it's not the end of the world. Okay. He's just going to die. That's going to be the 3rd villager down for poor Biry, as he's still trying to keep that army out. And yep, Tiger was going to get him, if not the spearman. Did he see the stables? I think he ran right through them, right? So he should know. And he's actually been making a lot more spearmen. Oh, man. As I said, guys, free pikeman upgrade's pretty overrated. It's not really a great thing. Nobody really ever makes use of it. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. Oh, God, and the army's in now as well. And I think Biry's day is done. I think this is going to be a 3-0. This army could kill villagers here. Like, there's so many weak ones from earlier. And D3rp is going to be completely fine. James is dead. We'll have town centers. I think now that's Biry's logic. Biry's like, well, I'm probably dead, so let me just try and drop a TC real quick. But a feudal age army is going to be able to kill like 3 or 4 villagers on top of everything else, and the knights are not going to do anything. And Biry gets 3-0'd by D3rp. D3rp makes it into gold. Really happy to see a player like D3rp moving on, and Biry obviously gives him the GG well played, which he did in game 1 and game 2, and then says good luck next. Man, that first game, Biry was so close to winning it. And the second game, he could have won that as well if he would have scouted a little bit better on his pond on Houseboat. But D3rp was more consistent. D3rp was more consistent across all settings because we had 3 very different maps. And D3rp showed many different styles. He showed Knight Skirmisher. He showed crazy booming. He showed the ability to win in messy games on Houseboat. And then he showed an ability to just like kind of roll with the punches in this game on Arabia, which, again, normally if you see a CL in front of someone's name, you're not expecting someone to perform super well on. So Biry obviously will have more opportunities. Anyone who wants to compete going into trying to qualify for Season 3, there's going to be more, right? There's going to be more silver in like 6 or 7 months whenever we do the next season. So that's the exciting part for someone like him. But I had mentioned before the series that a well-rounded player like D3rp is going to be the favorite. And he proved me wrong on the 3-2 prediction. I really was hoping this would go to the 5 games, but just didn't happen there. Yeah, that game was like not even close. So well played to D3rp. I'm trying to think, is that the highest placing in Titans League for a player from the Netherlands? Did we have anyone from the Netherlands in the first season at all? I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, for all my Dutch audience out there, you guys will be flying your flag high for D3rp in Gold League. I mean, there are other good Dutch players like Dark Noob. There's one in the past who played really well, Angelina Jolie. There's other names we could talk about, but yeah. We add another flag to the list of countries participating in Gold League. Sick stuff.